Good afternoon and welcome back to my channel. I have this little project to share with you. It's a combination journal and pop-up book. It is coptic bound with the 2-needle coptic binding, and the way that you can tell that is that it has an even number of holes, and even on the very ends there's still the chain stitch instead of just the kettle stitch. So that's how you distinguish those two. The hardboard covers were covered first with fabric that had a lot of texture in it. I opted to do that rather than trying to do a cover with texture paste, because the texture paste was a little too rough in combination with the eggshells that form the dragon skin. And then the dragon's eye is popped out by using glossy accents in 3 coats. So it kind of built up and got a little more glossy that way. I will link the YouTube video where I learned to do this. I had also done this kind of cover on my recent book of shadows, and one of the commenters was that, oh wow, they were going to use that to make a dragon journal. And I thought, wow, that's a great idea. I think I'll make one too. So in order to bring out the eggshells, I used these metallic waxes, and then I had this old set, and I've probably had this for 10 years, folks. You don't use very much. But I did not have any of this in copper, and I wanted a little bit of copper, and then this silver is quite light, and so some of the areas I wanted a darker silver, so I used a little bit of that. I also very gently put a little bit of the metallic on the weave of the fabric to kind of, it's more obvious here, to highlight that a wee bit. So the reason I had to use coptic binding was because it will lay flat, and you have to have that opening flat like that for a pop-up to actually work. The papers in here are from Medieval Mirage on Etsy, and I'll put a link to that, and this is called Medieval Fragments, and there's all sorts of interesting papers, and then I digitally collaged some dragons and some illuminated letters and things like that on top of it. But it is their paper, it's the basis for everything. And I found a lot of dragon imagery on Mischief Circus, also on Pinterest, and so I just used that and combined all of it together. So this is the first pop-up. It's a series of platforms. The background is looking outside of a cave. This interior is from photography I took inside Carlsbad Caverns. And then this is some things from Mischief Circus. The jewels, the crown, and the little goldish dragon. Some of the pages, like this one, are in black and white. I kind of thought that the young man who gets this might enjoy taking colored pencils and making some of these dragons fit his idea of what goes on. So there are a few of those in here. See, this is part of the Medieval Fragments. It was actually a corner pocket, and I just digitally collaged it on the corner without making a pocket. And there's some of those black and white coloring images. And then this is the second of the pop-ups. So it's an actual photograph of a castle, and then one of the dragons that I had image of. This little knight is from Mischief Circus. And that's a combination of pull straps and then platform type construction. I will link also the pop-up channel with Duncan Birmingham, because if you look at his tutorials, you'll be able to figure out how to do some of this on your own. This is from a picture from a Renaissance fair, and then a dragon from offline. This is some of that eliminated page items that I had, and then I altered it, cut off some of the ends of it, added the dragon to it to adapt it to this theme. That little dragon is from the Mischief Circus. And then this is Mischief Circus. It was called Genu Baby Dragon. It had the eggshells and the baby dragon and mama dragon. And then it was on. This is a background for one of the fairy tale collections on Mischief Circus, just all kind of put into one. Another one to color. And that's the end. So I hope you enjoyed that little project, and I hope that you will at some point be brave enough to try pop-ups. They're a whole lot of fun, and Duncan Birmingham does a wonderful job of showing you not only the basic mechanics of how they work, but examples in lots of children's books that can be very inspirational. Have a marvelous day.